This is Milos Sarcev, and this is my 2019 Mr. Olympia analysis. For what is worth right now, I want to start this analysis. Here we are at the prejudging, waiting for that first call out. This is what I'm talking about when experts like Steve Weiberger have a brief moment to just glance at the lineup and pick a top six. And of course, top six that he picked was exactly top six at the end. So a trained eye knows exactly what to look for. I'm just going to be a little bit more analytical, and I'm going to dissect each and every guy in 5 aspects of judging that I was talking about: balance, shape, conditioning, muscularity, and a presentation. So here you have top 6, the moving Dexter in the middle, which usually means a good thing for him. Everybody knows if you're on the side, you're not favored. And the way that they looked at it, let's look at the now judging of each physique. So here would be that front relaxed pose that for me, Hadi Choopan would have won, and we're going to touch this later when we have a footage. But this is a front double biceps first pose. So we are looking for what? For balance, shape, conditioning. Balance is in Hadi's favor. Upper body, lower body, matching very well. Nice shape. Some is going to criticize him for a little bit wider waist, but as you see, X-frame and V-taper is there. Good arms, everything is there. Conditioning is fantastic. The best in the show, and muscularity is there. Comparing to him, Roelly Winklaar, look at the size, look at the arms, width, V-taper, but lacking in legs development, and especially, I want to say here, right leg is separated, left is not, completely relaxed. Here is Bonac, who has a tremendous physique, but in the front double biceps, he is narrow comparing to Hadi, and his legs were downsized. Yes, nice separation, but a downsized in comparison to every other time we saw him as recently as Arnold Classic last year. Steve Kuclo, great placing for him, has everything. It's just not, I guess I would say, matured enough yet, for this level. Oh my God, Mr. Olympia, Brandon Curry. Leading into the show, many people suspected that it was some photoshops, that it is impossible to have this kind of V-taper. So he is pretty much perfect. Looking at the balance, yes, his lower body doesn't match his upper body exactly, but the way he positioned it right here, you can see a great width here and a great width here. So this is pretty much ideal pose for Brandon Curry. Shape, incredible. Conditioning is lacking. Muscularity is there. So comparing to second place, Bonac, you can see that William just doesn't have that width. And that cost him. I mean, a great separation, much better, much drier than Brandon. But in upper body, clavicles are not wide enough, lats could not match Brandon's, and as we're going to see, the same would be the case with Hadi Choopan. Hadi Choopan front lat spread is out of this world, and as you see even here from the side, okay, here's the shot, what I'm talking about. Look at Hadi Choopan. Wide shoulders, wide lats, separated quads, everything looks tremendous. Side chest. Okay, here's maybe from aspect. I'm gonna wait for him to hit the pose. Yeah. So Hadi, by all means, looked tremendous, but there was a couple of guys that beat him in this shot. Namely, we see William, very thickly muscled, striated, the outside of the chest, crazy arms, very good legs from the side. Now, Roelly Winklaar would be a great contender in this pose had he been in shape. But again, when we look at balance, shape, conditioning, muscularity, okay, William would beat Hadi because balance from the side Width is not so important that you can't really see. He is twisting just enough so he make his shoulders wide. So balance is there, shape is there, incredible muscle bellies, conditioning is spectacular, right? So I would give William second place next to, I hope you're gonna see Brandon. Brandon just looked freaky here he goes. Freaky in a side pose, side chest pose. Balance that he maybe doesn't have it from a front and a back, because upper body overpowers lower body. It's not visible on the side chest pose. His legs are very thick, and this pose is just like unbelievable. That as well. Here is Dexter, who is known for conditioning. He came a little bit flat. Of course, he went for conditioning because he knew that's his ticket to win, but he was just slightly flat and not as impressive as he could have been. Even though when he turns it around, this is now super impressive. Look at how dry Dexter is. Beautiful shape, balance, conditioning, everything is there. So back double biceps pose is between these three gentlemen, Brandon, Dexter, and William. And they're gonna hit the pose. As you guys probably noticed, I favored Hadi, and I still believe, as I said in the interviews, that Hadi could have won the whole show according to every aspect of judging. But here in back double biceps, he does lose to here. Okay, if Roelly would be in condition, even he would win. Because he was not in condition, I wouldn't put Roelly in front of Hadi. But definitely, here is William. Incredible muscularity, so much muscle mass. Yeah, maybe not as wide, but all these small little detail muscles with the shoulders and arms, sided glutes, hamstring, gluteus. Yeah, he is very good. You know, for me, second place next to Brandon Curry, Dexter being third in that particular pose. Going into rear lat spread, I mean, look at Hadi when he opens up. You know, hamstring, glutes, oh my God, everything. And he doesn't look nothing like 200-pound potential competitor. He look all 230 pounds plus, at least that's illusion. But for me, Hadi Choopan wins this shot. And I'm gonna say why, because he was considerably wider than William and considerably better conditioned and balanced than Brandon. Brandon's legs from behind, which we're gonna see in a second comparison, now we don't have a footage, lack in development. Now, side triceps, Hadi looks good, but not as impressive as, okay, Roelly would be if he would be conditioned. Probably that would be his pose, probably best triceps pose in the world. And side poses, I would go with the Brandon, definitely, and William being second. So side triceps, go to Brandon, William second, and Hadi third. Ab shot. Okay, this is something that I wish I can see at Mr. Olympia, that everybody has a deep chiseled abs, stomach glued to the spine, deep separation. Roelly has that potential, he was just not dry enough. And as you're going to see with the Roelly, usually the left leg is always completely relaxed. Here we have some separation, but just not enough size. William does ab pose quite quickly and doesn't want to stay in it. He turns usually to the side. Probably he knows that this is not his best shot, and he would be somewhat narrow, so he turns to the intercostal serratus like this. Yeah. Here is the money shot for Brandon. Oh my God. Again, knowing that from the side his legs are balanced with his upper body, abs super deep, intercostals. Here he creates illusion of a better conditioning that he was actually in. I would still give it to Hadi, fully flexed in this pose. I would give Hadi over Brandon. Now, This was first call out, and top 6 in no particular order. But here, for some reason, they missed most muscular shot, and they were just going again with the front double biceps. Now we have a top 3 guys here next to each other, actually top 4 guys, and let's freeze here. So shape goes to Brandon. Balance goes to Hadi. Legs are just not enough, big enough for his upper body. Conditioning definitely goes to Hadi. Muscularity, yeah, it's a toss-up. I mean, Brandon is bigger. Hadi is more conditioned. You know, so if I have to make overall judgment for front double biceps, considering all 5 factors, I would go with Hadi first, Brandon second, and William third. You know, so I hope you see my argument. Dexter is, you know, my sentimental favorite, I say. His left arm was, you know, a little bit smaller than right. We knew he had a problem. And he often did not control his lower abdomen. You know, when he flexes, you can see striations here and, you know, deep cuts on the upper ab, but not lower. Legs just not as conditioned and not as big. But shape, you know, it's always, Dexter Jackson is 29 times winner of the pro shows for a reason. Now it's a front lat spread, and this is a money shot, you know, for both Hadi Choopan or Choopan and Brandon. Oh, for some reason they missed that shot. They're going into the side chest. Okay, and side chest, most definitely Brandon wins. Now, when I'm talking about the balance, look at his legs from the side. You know, so legs are humongous from the side view. And here it is, another good example. William, very good in the side chest pose. Dexter as well, but Dexter was somewhat flat. So here, Brandon first, William second, Hadi, then Dexter. Turning to the back, again, as soon as Dexter turns around, you can see that conditioning. He doesn't even have to flex. Everything is detailed right there. Beautiful, beautiful back double biceps pose for Dexter. As I said earlier, this is one pose that Hadi needs to improve in order to move up and, you know, be considered as a Miss Olympia champion. You know, he already knocks on the door. He's third in his Olympia debut, but here, yeah, he needs more detail on the back. Now I'm gonna get William as well. This is tremendous muscle maturity from tons and tons of weight that he lifted in years of training. So, you know, here I think just the way he's gonna train back, you know, can make a difference for Hadi. Lat spread is actually his pose, and he has a huge back. So I'm kind of contradicting myself, like, oh, okay, Milos, does he have a back or he doesn't? He has tremendous lats and a width and even thickness, but he needs more detail, so more squeezing, you know, exercise to do. Hamstring glutes, it's really, sorry, not comparable. He beats Brandon Curry big time, and I hope Brandon's going to see that constructive criticism. He needs that width here. He needs a sweep on the thighs, you know, because somebody like Hadi is going to exploit this. And if William comes again like he did at the Arnold Classic with the bigger legs, you know, in leg department, okay, for all of you guys, if you can cover the screen, cover upper body of everybody, and then judge just the legs, and then cover the lower body and judge just the upper body. So you're going to have a different winners for sure. But all in all, I would actually give this you know, pose to William. William first, Brandon second. Yeah, I would even say Dexter third, and possibly Hadi fourth. Yeah, you heard it right. This is how I see it. Again, we have a Roelly always here on the screen, and it's just like all of us would just say, why didn't you come ready for the show? You would be a major contender. Now, judges moving William and Hadi, again, they want to see comparison from maybe different angles, which I salute. And I don't say that the judges made a mistake. No way. I'm just having maybe a little bit different observations, and I'm pointing out directly what I think on each and every pose. Side tricep. Here we go again. Brandon looks unbeatable. You know, too much shape, too much size, and a balance is there. And conditioning from the side, for whatever reason, it does look fairly decent. I don't think that the Brandon was in great condition, far from. Not Olympia winning condition, but so much size, abs are there, which I saw here. Looks pretty conditioned, you know, from the side view. And he definitely won that show with that pose, with William being second, Hadi third. Here comes the ab shot, which Hadi for me clearly won because he had deep abs. As you see, Brandon and William would hit the microsecond ab shot and then immediately go into this intercostal serratus because it looked better for them. But here, ab shot should be really huge in the point system and most muscular. I mean, here's the pose that Roelly could never lose to anyone, King Kong included, because look at this size. Crazy. That's a money shot for him, but his legs are holding him back, and conditioning. So when I talk about balance, right, and I talk about conditioning, Roelly, you know, shouldn't be there, you know, unfortunately, but he has way too much size, way too much muscularity, and his presentation is quite good. He hits the poses correctly with exceptional legs. He constantly relaxes the leg or squeezes only right one. Look at the Brandon Curry. Oh my God. So yeah, definitely Brandon wins this shot, and Hadi was competitive. I would still go with Brandon possibly the most muscular, and William third. So that was that first call out. And pre-judging was finishing at this point, and the judges call 4 guys which actually were not top 4, because Roelly for some reason was called and Dexter wasn't, and they probably later realized that Roelly was, you know, still way off, so they didn't allow him to beat Dexter. So Dexter placed 4th. But here we have our top 3 finishers, and this is what I talk about, a symmetry round. Here is perfect example. Now you can judge aesthetic, balance, shape. So V-taper, X-frame, conditioning, you know, there's probably no person on this earth that's going to overlook Hadi and say, yeah, Hadi was the best. William, smaller legs and more narrow, so cannot beat Hadi in this pose. Shape monster, yes. Beautiful shape of Brandon, but size of the legs, therefore balance with his upper body, was not as good as Hadi. And here, Roelly, I mean, look at this V-taper. Imagine a little bit more sweep to the thighs and more separation, he would be unbeatable. When Roelly opens up those lats, he has a deep abs and round chest, round shoulders, crazy arms. You know, that could be Roelly's pose, but front relax pose, by all means, Hadi wins, and I hope nobody's going to really question it. Front double bicep. Okay, now we have a perfect picture here. As you see, perfect pose for Hadi. Everything is there, including balance. Balance that maybe Mr. Olympia Brandon Curry didn't have as powerful legs. Yes, in shape he beats Hadi. Conditioning goes to Hadi. Balance goes to Hadi. Muscularity can be toss-up, and presentation. I mean, Hadi is a master of presentation. William, yes, separation, great arms, but narrow here. And Roelly, I mean, if he would be conditioned, we would have a completely different story. Craziest arms, craziest width, so he would be super competitive. Again, I hope you see my argument for Hadi winning this shot, right there. Okay, look at the legs, compare them. So, I think that William was very lucky to beat Hadi by judges' score sheet. Here's a lat spread, and this is the pose that Brandon looked unreal in all these months preceding the Olympia. Everybody suspected, like, guys are photoshopping because this is impossible. But here comes Hadi. Look at this X-frame, look at this V-taper, look at the crazy chiseled abdominals, super separated, sweeping thighs. I mean, for me, Hadi first, Brandon second. Yeah, he lost because of the balance and the conditioning. And third goes to William. Fourth to Roelly. Roelly, had he been more conditioned, yes, would be a factor. This way he's not. Side chest, Roelly would also be a factor, but the conditioning was not there. So I'm not going to even discuss this. I'm going to discuss top three. Super impressive pose for William, and super impressive for Brandon. Brandon is behind a black curtain, so you can't really see and appreciate his physique as much. Lighting is better on William, so a lot of people maybe give it to William, but this pose, for me, my judgment, Brandon first, William second, Hadi third. And like I said, we are going second time through all the comparisons, so I might be repeating myself, but if I want to emphasize something, I repeat it, and everybody, even the naysayers and people that don't agree with me, they can pay attention and look. So let's cover the upper body and lower body. So you're going to see that already William and Hadi would beat Brandon in the lower body compartment if there's just lower body. But it is about a balance. So great physique, great pose for Brandon, but not enough conditioning, okay? Hadi had more width than William, but in this pose, due to his detail, which I would go in the also conditioning department, his back looked more conditioned than Hadi's in this pose, and I hope you guys see what I'm talking about. Yes, I like Hadi for first or second place over William, but this is the pose that goes to William. Lat spread, now another pose that Hadi is just eighth wonder. Here, I mean, it's hard to imagine that this guy was considering competing in 212 the same day, like hours before. This looks to me like a humongous bodybuilder that actually is beating William in size department, in width, in muscularity, therefore, and conditioning. Yeah, William was conditioned, but Hadi was more conditioned. Here you see Brandon, and legs, again, are just not there. So if I'm a judge and I have to call just this lat spread pose, who wins? Hadi wins. I will give Brandon second and William third. Okay? So if you're keeping a track pose by pose, for me, it's very, very close between Brandon and Hadi, and I have absolutely no problem William winning. But as I said, many years before, conditioning meant everything. Ronnie beat 98 flex on conditioning. Dexter beat Jay on conditioning. Sean last year beat Phil on conditioning. Now here, side triceps, both William and Brandon beat Hadi, in my opinion. There is way too much size, thickness, conditioning, muscle on both of these gentlemen. So Brandon first, William second, Hadi third. Ab shot, again, it's going to be 2 second shots for most of the people. Okay, here you see William didn't even exhale and made a separation, so he quickly moves. Roelly does abs perfectly, but you can see he can only squeeze one leg at a time and not enough muscle, not enough sweep. And Brandon's abs look good. I would still make them deeper and legs more separated, so it would be no question for next year. But here, most muscular. Now, Brandon is behind, in front of a black curtain, so you can't really see and appreciate his physique. He looked better than this video shows, but look at the size and the width of Hadi. So for me, Hadi wins over William because of the width and a strong separation and thickness of the legs. Brandon second and William third. Now crab most muscular. I could flip-flop and I could give it to William and even Brandon and even William over Hadi in that crab most muscular. So there you have it. I think this is as detailed analysis as I can get. So for me, if I'm the judge, it was very, very, very close between Brandon and Hadi. I would personally give it to Hadi to award the conditioning, because next time you're stepping on Mr. Olympia stage, whoever that might be, you should be in 100% condition or don't shut up at all. I mean, pretty much. I talk about it back in 90s, 99 for example, 15th place, Jay Cutler was ripped to shreds, dry to the bone, and everybody ahead of him just as well. So this is kind of conditioning. We talk about it, everybody says bring back the 90s. So bring back the 90s for 2020. It's going to be a tremendous show, but this is my wrap up of 2019 Mr. Olympia. Talk to you soon.